never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams into modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through.
Welcome back to the PBC, Pelican Bay's Corner, where I give it to you like I always say, fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Some will like it and some ain't. We got a topic to talk about today. I see they back with the foolery on Facebook again. Once again, they back with the foolery, so we're going to talk about it. Hope everybody having a great day, had a great day, having a great night, having a great morning. Just depends on where you're at across this good old globe. You know, appreciate everybody that watched the video. If you haven't watched it yet, go back and check the last video out where we're talking about what Trump's game is. You know, so if you haven't watched that, go back and watch the last video. What ranks #1 over gameness? You know, today we're talking about something else that I see brothers commenting up on the samurai post that he made, and I tell you, man, I don't know where these dog brothers are coming from. I don't know where they've been at. You know, I'm just gonna, you know, say it like this. You know, brothers are saying, in order to get merits in the Sporting Dog Journal back in the days, you had to beat a dog with merits. And this is the first time in my damn life I ever heard it. See, we as dog men, you're going to hear all kind of stuff, especially when you got a community full of people that really never bulldog. Only thing they're doing is reading these books and coming up with their own shit, coming up with their own conclusions and all kind of stuff. I never in my life heard, in order to get merits in the Sporting Dog Journal, you had to beat a dog that had merits in the Sporting Dog Journal. That wasn't one of the requirements. You know, you had to have a referee. You know, some people said you had to have a notable referee or something like that. You know, and both sides, you know, did whatever they're supposed to be doing, and that was that. This is the first time in my life I ever heard of you had to a champion had to beat a champion, and the grand champion had to beat a grand champion. If that's the case, you have way more 3-1 dogs, 5-1 dogs. Nobody can go undefeated. There's only going to be a handful of undefeated dogs, because in order to be a champion, you got to be the champion. Now, common sense tell any dog brother out there, by the time you reach 3, 4, 5 shows, how about the dogs that come out on their first time and be the champion? On win #1. and be the champion. Be the grand champion. You know, if I gotta be the grand champion in order to be a grand champion, and if I be the grand champion my first damn time out, that should make me a grand champion. You know, you can't reverse the roles. So, if a grand champion go against a dog for his first time, you know, his first time out, and he going against a grand champion, what's it to win for a grand champion? What's the purpose for a grand champion to even go against a dog that's a one-time winner? There's no purpose for me to go against a dog that's a one-time winner if I'm a champion or trying to get my champion. You know, they say I gotta go against a champion in order to be champion. Y'all, like I said, you know, my friends, the ones that I consider my friends, are the people that was really connected in these magazines back in the days. You know, and I'm gonna speak on this as well, because brothers trying to talk about Fat Bill had more clout when it comes to that type of stuff in the books than Jack Kelly. Man, is you stupid? Is you fucking stupid? No disrespect to Fat Bill. No disrespect to Fat Bill, but I keep telling y'all, the comments that y'all say and the things that y'all beat out in these chats and try to call one man green and this and that, and y'all talk about a whole bunch of greenery bullshit. Crock of bullshit piled all up in one damn group and one damn person comments talking it, and people come up under it. They don't know no better. You know, they don't know no damn better. Salute to the brothers that got up in that particular conversation and told them, brothers, it's no such thing. You know, you had to go by the rules, and that's all it was. The rules ain't, you gotta, in order to get a champion, you gotta be the champion. In order to be a grand champion, you had to be a grand champion that was a grand champion in the Sporting Dog Journal. You know how many people that got champions and grand champions that wasn't even in that Sporting Dog Journal? And we consider them champions and grand champions today. Nobody can say, oh, this particular dog right here is not a grand champion because he didn't beat a grand champion of the Sporting Dog. Man, y'all sound corny as hell talking this type of talk when it comes to these dogs. You see? That's why I tell brothers, you gotta salute to all the real bulldoggers out there. Salute and shout out to all the brothers that's giving this dog talk on different platforms on a daily basis. But you're gonna need a lot of brothers that are really out here bulldogging, you know, to go on for the future, because these motherfuckers gonna scramble the game up, they're gonna mix the game up, and they're gonna have a game where it's so phony, you know what I'm saying? You're not even gonna believe half the shit that you hearing from the 90s and all that type of stuff, early 2000s, 80s, you know what I'm saying? Phony baloney. Gotta be the grand champion in order to be a grand champion in the Sporting Dog Journal. That lets you know that these folk thinking because you was in the journal, and I'm gonna say this, no disrespect to the brothers that was in it. If you was in the journal, you had higher rankings than the brothers who wasn't in the journal. You know? No, you just can get advertised better if you was in the journal. Oh, I got a grand champion here in the journal. I got a champion in the journal. I got a dog that's a one-time winner in the journal. You know, people know them because they get in the journal. I never heard of a rule that you had to beat a titled dog. Never heard that rule. You know, but one thing I know about this dog game, I'm going to say it again as well too. They make up shit. Every other 6 months, they're making up new rules. Every other 6 months, they're making up new fake news. You know what I'm saying? Every other 6 months is something different about a dog game that they wasn't even a part of when the dog game was going down. You know, every other 6 months you're changing up something, switching up something, and trying to cater to your best dogs. Now let me ask y'all this, you know, because I did hear this, you know, that grand champion Ambo's dog, he need to have a loss beside his record, from what I hear. They say you ain't got no loss beside Ambo's record, but he lost. He got his ass kicked from what I heard. No loss by his name. We just gonna forget that loss. We're gonna forget that loss. We just gonna keep him going like he was You know what I'm saying? Keep him going like he was. And like I said, I'm just putting out there what, the little bit of news I do get. Grand champion Ambos has a loss on his record. Now, tell me what grand champions did Barracuda beat? Not saying he didn't, but what I'm telling you is, you know every damn thing else? Tell me that. What grand champions did Barracuda beat? Not champions, but grand champions. You know? And you should know that. If you know all this other stuff, you should know that. So many grand champions out here that people talk about on a daily basis that haven't beat any grand champions. You know? And like I said, Sport Dog Journal was not all of it was not the holy grail. When I say that, I mean, just because you wasn't in it, don't mean you had a less quality bulldog. His merits wasn't the same. If people knew you had a grand champion, you had a grand champion. It didn't matter if it was in the book or not. Long as the people that you was dealing with the dogs, and the people that you knew, and the people that you knew that was a grand champion, they would spread it to the next person. Oh man, you heard about this grand champion so-and-so? You heard about this dog? Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. It would word of mouth, it would have got around. You know? So, you know, being in the book didn't mean you had a better quality dog. So what y'all need to do is, you know, for one, when you disrespect Jack Kelly, comparing him to Fat Bill, not even comparing them, saying Jack Kelly didn't own no dogs and this and that and blah, 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 and this and that, or whatever, and this and that, and you're trying to big up Fat Bill Game Dog Times. Man, listen here, man. That Game Dog Times ain't shit like them damn sporting dog journals that was coming out back in the days, because I had the Game Dog Times. Great magazine, great little book that Fat Bill put together. Stories about different bloodlines. That's a totally different thing than that Sport Dog Journal match records. He couldn't get the match records without the Sport Dog Journal. If the Game Dog Times had it in his book, he couldn't get it without the Sport Dog Journal. Reading them books and then putting that information in his Game Dog Times. See, Game Dog Times is more like a book. It's not a journal. The journal is exactly what it is, a journal. What's going down daily amongst these dogs a few times a year. 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year it come out. How many times is the Game Dog Times came out in a year? Fat Bill got volumes of this book. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4. The Sport Dog Journal was coming out multiple times a year, every year. Not no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 volumes. And like I said, the Game Dog Times book is a great book. You get a great read out of that. You know, a lot of good information in them books that Fat Bill put out. But, you know, Fat Bill had to get the information that he was putting from the matches out of Sport Dog Journal, unless he was actually at the match. And if he was actually at the match and didn't get the information out of the Sport Dog Journal, that further solidifies what I'm telling you, that it don't matter if your dog in the journal or not, long as somebody seen it, or long as Bulldoggers knew about it. So y'all will get up under a brother who telling you he wasn't even bulldogging in these days, and y'all get up on here commenting about all kind of shit like that, and saying all this stuff like this and talking about this. And man, listen here, man, stop living in that fairy tale fictional world that y'all brothers be living in. If a dog won 3, he was a champion. If he won 5, he was a grand champion. If he did it the right way. It didn't make no fucking difference whether the dog's a title or not. How many champions you know that won 3, that none of them 3 was champions? Come on, man. man. Y'all gotta get real out here, man. I see exactly why these folk be getting in them groups. These folk be taking them that Facebook shit, the dirty side of Facebook, and they be indicting half of y'all. Y'all about dumb as hell. I see why y'all can't comprehend what good this dog news is doing for your ass out here. You can't comprehend that because you too stupid and dumb up here on Facebook talking about you had to go into titled dogs. So I know if you're thinking all that shit, then you don't understand what this news is bringing to the table. You just don't understand it. Oh, he's telling everybody business, or he doing this, or he doing that, and then you go back on Facebook talking about a damn title dog had to go into another title dog and all that type of shit. Never been part of the rules. The Cajun rules is the rules, and all you had to do is have you a referee. And I did hear that you needed a notable referee, but at the end of the day, a referee was a fucking referee. Everybody was unknown at some point. Everybody was a nobody at some point. What you think? One man went to everybody's shows across this country? Every single dog show across this country? Until everybody started getting their dog titles, champion and grand champion. One man went to every single dog show? If you listen to what y'all saying, you'll think that. Like I said, sometimes I look at this dog game and sometimes I'm like, this shit is going downhill fast. Riding with like a drunk driver with no brakes on the car in an 18-wheeler going downhill with one eyeball. It just is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? And that further shows that so many people that don't deserve to have these dogs, so many people that shouldn't have these dogs, so many people that don't know the game, so many people that's trying to, the blind leading the blind is what they call it. One day y'all talking about a game dog, he'll stop in 2 hours, a hard biter stop him in 2 hours. You don't understand that everything get tired. Anything will stop when you get tired. You got to keep them from getting tired. You got to keep them from getting that way. One day you're talking about that, the next day you're talking about these dogs got to be titled in order to get a title. So I mean, hey man, I don't know where y'all get this information from, and maybe it's that new sporting dog journal that they putting out that they do that type of stuff in. I don't know, but when I seen brother saying Jack Kelly never had a dog, and trying to compare Fat Bill to Jack Kelly, you think a man that never had a dog would even have interest in starting a sporting dog journal? Since he never had a dog? I ain't saying he had a yard like David Tant. I ain't saying he had this kind of yard like Mr. Garner. For you to make a statement that a man never had a dog, but the man ran a whole fucking sporting dog journal, what interest would he have had to start a sporting dog journal if he wasn't dealing with the dogs? Come on, man. Come on now. Y'all gotta stop all that fairy tale fiction shit when we're not in no cartoons, we're not in no fantasy land, no sci-fi movies, none of that type of stuff. Y'all gotta stop all this fairy tale fiction talk. But it don't matter to me because you just give me something to talk about, when it comes to my show. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. It's your boy PBK, and I'm giving it to him. I'm just sitting back waiting and looking in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Looking in the comments. I got people that I deal with on a daily basis that were really affiliated with these books. Ain't never said nothing about in order to be a grand champion, you got to be the grand champion. Ain't never said nothing about in order to be a champion, you had to be the champion. You just took on whoever bought that smoke, whoever thought they had a better dog at the time. If you're a champion and you want to put your one-time winner on a champion, it was what it was. It wasn't, oh, I'm going to go ahead and get my champion out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and beat this champion and get this out of the way so my next shows I can do, I don't got to worry about going into a champion. I done went to a champion one time. You know, that's the type of mind frame y'all talking about. Y'all acting like it's certain dogs you got to beat in order to get these titles. When you got a bad dog, you take on anybody. You don't give a damn what the hell he had. Grand champion and I got a one-time winner, bring it. If I feel like my dog can beat him. And like I said, by the time you reach 3 and 5 wins and all that type of stuff, you're going to be done winning to champions. You're going to be done winning to grand champions. Just common sense. It ain't the rules making you do it. Just common sense. But like I always say, man, you know, everybody out here know the rules. Everybody out here is historians. A lot of these folk don't know shit about this breed. You know what I'm saying? You just got to do your research, man. Do your research before you get out here and start talking this stuff. Do your research from people that's reliable resources. You know what I'm saying? People that really was doing these magazine things and all this type of stuff. And man, listen here, man. Sometimes you just got to be real with yourself. You know. Now, what I will say is I'm going to go ahead and touch on this topic as well. Salute to the brother Lockjaw Kennel. He was asking about the pit bulls and asking, he was speaking about the dog being bred a certain kind of way when it came over, and saying the pit bull was similar to a band dog or whatever in that aspect, and then, you know, just talking about how was the dog bred when it came. You know, at this particular point, nobody knows the real truth. But what we do know is in Ireland, they had the Dudley Terrier, which was already an already developed pit bull. This wasn't a pit bull that needed any more touching. You know what I'm saying? That's the same reason why we always say you can't take no bull terrier now and put him with a bulldog and then get you a pit bull. You're not going to get the same kind of dog. You know, some of these dogs may have been mixed, and this is one thing we got to realize as well. Every single dog that's been created in domesticated dogs have been bred from one dog to the next. Mix this dog with this dog to get this kind of dog. But because you know Belgian Malinois got Shepherd in it, and whatever, and if you do your research on it, you figure out it had some other kind of dog in it at the core of the creation. Don't mean you could take a Shepherd and put that same kind of dog. Just say, I'm gonna give you an example. This probably is not how they made. Just say if the Belgian Malinois was made with German Shepherd and some type of just say Irish Wolfhound, right? I'm just making this shit up, you know. Just say if it was an Irish Wolfhound and a German Shepherd made the Belgian Malinois when it was created hundreds of years ago, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And we're talking in other countries, right? But these folk now get that research and they're thinking they can mix them two dogs to make a Belgian Malinois. And you ain't gonna never see that happen. The Dudley Terrier was already created. What about the people that had the old family red dogs in Ireland? The old families that had their pit bulls already created. The old English Terrier and the Bulldog is where they say this dog come from. Now, what we don't got document of is anybody in America taking old English Terriers, mixing them with Bulldogs, and starting a line right here in America. Out of all the people that we talk about, Kobe, whoever, and Mr. Lightner, or this person, or these people from the 1800s, the Americans Only thing the American can be credited for is naming it the American Pit Bull Terrier. We don't got an American document that says that they took the English Terrier here in America and the Bulldog here in America, mixed them up and got a Pit Bull. These dogs came like that on the boat already. You know? Now, you got the old family red dogs. Them Ireland already created pit bulls. They don't need to be touched again. They don't need to be mixed up again. Already created, old family red. You got your Dudley Terriers, which was your red-nosed dogs, pink skin, flesh color skin nose dogs, red-nosed dogs, already created. You know? Now, band dogs, you know, I kind of feel a little uncomfortable putting a band dog in a pit bull conversation. A band dog is a mix of about 4 or 5 different dogs. 2 or 3, it ain't just 2 dogs. You got the master, the pit bull, and some other kind of shit, and some other kind of stuff. It ain't, and a band dog, it's no, you got to have these 3 different or these 4 different dogs in it to make a band dog. You know, it's just a mix of damn dogs. A Mountain Wild, pit bull, a mastiff. You know, I mean, and like I said, band dog really shouldn't be in the pit bull conversation because a band dog is nowhere the age of a pit bull. You want to compare band dogs to them blue dogs, them bullies, them XLs, them damn pocket pits and all that other shit. You want to compare band dogs to all that stuff because all of them about the same age. Band dogs, you can't compare them to pit bulls because a pit bull was created just as long as and dogs like the Doberman Pinscher, dogs like your Rottweilers, dogs like your rest of your breed of dogs. Everybody always go back to that particular topic when they say the pit bull is a mixed breed. Yeah, they started out mixed. Why y'all acting like the rest of the dogs didn't start out mixed? You know, this dog, a poodle, mixed up with this dog and that dog. Schnauzers mixed with this dog, and that dog to make one. All the dogs came from wolves. And you look at every single dog breed in this world today. Hundreds and hundreds of breeds of dogs. When you go back to the core of them all, it's the wolf, right? Everybody know that. The wolf was the very first dog, maybe the coyote. If you want to put them in there with the wolf, wolves and coyotes, right? The very first dogs, wild dogs. When they made them domesticated, every single dog was mixed with something else in order to get that dog. Not one dog, not 2 dogs, not just the pit bulls, the only dogs that were mixed. Every single dog was mixed with something. You got these dogs this big. They got more DNA from the wolf than some of your big dogs like German Shepherds. Oh, the German Shepherd looked like a wolf, but I forgot which dog it was, but it was a little house dog. One of them little small little house dogs had closer DNA to a wolf than them German Shepherds got. How do you can get a dog like that off a wolf without mixing it up with 3 or 4 different kind of dogs, 4 or 5, 6 or 7 different kind of dogs? What do you call it? You're doing your special breeding and all that type of stuff. You know? How can you get it? You can't. Pit bulls ain't no different than none of them breeds of dogs. Only thing different with a pit bull is the hate that come behind it through the public. You know what I'm saying? The stereotype talk that come behind it from the public. You know, it just I don't see nothing different. You know, the breed was already created. We said it came from the English Terrier and Bulldog. We didn't do that here in America. But what I ask brothers also is, because we gotta get more credit for these dogs than the average. Why don't you have no stories? These dogs been out for hundreds of years, right? You don't got no stories about no European bull breed dogs other than the Staffordshire Terriers, Staffordshire Bull Terriers. And them Staffordshire Terriers wasn't out before the Pit Bulls was out. They wasn't calling Staffordshires back in the 1900s, 1910, 1915. It wasn't no Staffordshire Terriers. It was American Pit Bull Terriers. And I bet you, and I will bet you this, before they start calling them pit bull, really calling them pit bulls, I bet you they was calling them bulldogs. Old bulldogs, old fighting dogs. Old bulldogs. Old fighting bulldogs. The people in Europe, we don't got no proof that they was having them dogs in boxes. Now we can give them credit for creating the dog, but we don't got no proof, no document, no stories, no nothing saying that they put them dogs in boxes to fight against each other. None of that type of stuff. We don't got them documents. We're assuming this shit. You know? Now we do got documents that they created the dogs. Like I said, we got documents showing that the Dudley Terrier was already over there. The old family red dogs come from different families already over there. And the breed was created over there. We got documents showing that the breed came over in the Great Migration, which would have been the mid-1800s. We'll get to talking to brothers that'll say, oh, Native Americans had pit bulls way before the Great Migration. We talking about what we got documented. You know what I'm saying? Only what we got documented, not what we're assuming. You know? So, I mean, when it comes to the pit, like I said, all these dogs are mixed up. Every damn breed out there got a mix of dogs that make them dogs. Labradors, a mix of dogs to make that dog. Your pointers, your hunting dogs, your bloodhounds, a mix of dogs to make them dogs. Your bulldogs, even the American bulldog, even the English bulldog, the Jake and the Fat Man style, is a mix of dogs to make that dog. Before they mix the pit bull bulldog to the bull terrier. The bull terrier, it took a mix of dogs to make the bull terrier. It took a mix of dogs to make the bulldog. From the wolf, these dogs went from long hair to tight skin. Mix of dogs to make these dogs. All the dogs got a mix up in them to make them. You know? You can look at some of these dogs, like these Egyptian dogs and these kind of dogs, and we don't know which one made the greyhound or which one the greyhound made. They look like greyhounds. These dogs, when they having in the little shows and stuff on TV, the ugliest dogs in the world, the little dogs with no hair on their body and just a little bit of hair around their face. You gotta mix these dogs to make these dogs. I ain't talking about that pocket pit shit. That's the worst. This era with them pocket pits and them little exotics is the worst generation of making breeds of dogs that ever existed in domesticated dogs. Out of all the dogs they ever had in the encyclopedias, all the breeds of dogs, none of them were more screwed up than them little exotic pocket dogs that they got now. Every single dog they created for a function, a reason, and even your teacup dogs, your little small dogs, your French bulldogs, not even like the French bulldogs used to be. These dogs are all mixed up dogs when they created these dogs, I'm speaking. Boston Terriers, mixed up dogs when they created them. So all the dogs, you want to call them band dogs, can be band dogs. Whatever a band dog mean, whatever that name mean. Every single dog out there is going to be like a band dog. You can't make no pit bull mixing up the old way they mixed up in modern day time. A pit bull is already made before any of us was born, before our granddaddies was born. Pit bulls were already made. But my big question is, being that we know they came from Europe, why nobody from Europe coined these dogs, coined the American or the European pit bulls or the European bulldogs? Nobody coined them, named them, and had no official name for these dogs when they came over here. So we gave them the official name. Why? If they was already created before they came here, why they didn't give no official names, and why we don't got no stories about none of them damn dogs coming from Europe or any place over there in Europe from 1900, from 1850 something to 2026. Only thing we got over there that we can look up and get stories about is Staffordshire Terriers. The name that come from Staffordshire. Other than that, everything is American literature. You don't got one book out, period, across this world, one book out about European bulldoggers from the 1900, 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940, 1950. You don't got nothing about no European bulldoggers. Only thing we know about Europe is that they create that cross to get a faster bull baiting dog. Bulldog was already aggressive. They put a more swift dog of the bull terrier, a more swift dog in it. One of them brought the gameness. Between the bull terrier and the bulldog, one of them brought the gameness. English terrier, English bull terrier. From what I hear, the English bull terrier is extinct now. From what I hear. So you couldn't make that cross again if you wanted to. The bulldogs that they made the crosses with were not the bulldogs in modern day time. The bull terriers weren't the bull terriers of modern day time. You're taking two dogs that don't exist and you're gonna try to create it the same breed with dogs that exist now, and neither one of the dogs that mixed up and made this dog is around anymore. When you see pictures of them bulldogs that mix with that bull terrier, they don't look like the bulldogs, the American bulldogs, the English bulldogs. They don't look like none of them motherfuckers. But hey, good talking points. Big shout out to all the brothers. They know that have questions when it comes to these dogs. Anybody, you know what I'm saying? Cause like I always say, the only question is a question you don't want to ask. The only stupid question is the one you don't want to ask when it comes to these dogs. The only way you can find out is to ask a question. Somebody knows something about it. I'm not going to know everything. This other brother knows something. This other brother knows something. And you put all these little information together. The way I see it. Do your reading. And I know, like, I done looked for books from European dog people. Everybody you see with European pit bulls, all of them came from America. You don't see no European pit bulls that originated from Europe and then these sport dog journals and all that type of stuff. And you go back and you look in the pedigree and it don't got no Red Boy in it, no Jeep in it, no Chinaman in it, no Eli in it. Every last dog that you see in Europe got American bulldogs in the background. No matter, you just got to go a little further back. It might not be David Tan, it might be Kobe, or it might be Leitner or something. But they got American bulldogs in the back. Hell, I ain't even seen no European bulldogs that go straight back to Leitner. All the European bulldogs I seen went to these brothers from the 80s, the 90s, and further up. And like I said, this show was to talk about title dogs having a sport dog journal, in order to be in the journal as a grand champion, you got to be the sporting dog grand champion. Two false statements, as far as I know it is. One, in order to be a grand champion, you ain't had to beat no grand champion. And in order to be a grand champion, you ain't had to be the sporting dog grand champion, sporting dog journal grand champion. Of course, that stuff is going to look good if you can do it. Of course, it's going to be Mr. Jack Kelly ain't got to ask so many questions when he write it down because he know this dog. It's a well-known dog. It's a dog that he wrote about already in his book. You know, he a grand champion Moon. I'm just making up a name. Grand champion Aristotle. You know, grand champion Aristotle all through the Sporting Dog Journal with his match report. So if you say you beat this dog, then all Mr. Kelly got to do is verify it. And it looked good on your record. Yeah, it looked damn good on your record if you could beat these type of dogs. But it wasn't a requirement. You know. Keep this dog talk legitimate. You know, you drift into the fairy tale world is when you can't live up to the expectations of these folk. Because they're living in fairy tale. Y'all hit that like button up. Y'all subscribe to the channel. Like I always say, you want to donate to the channel, $, hit me up on the Cash App or in the Super Chat. Cash App, $, Pelican Bay Kennel, capital P, capital B, capital K. Pelican Bay Kennel. You know, if you want to hit me up in the Cash App. But other than that, man, let's just keep it 100 with these dogs. Stop lying to yourselves and stop making up shit. You know, and don't just run with something when somebody tell you, because 9 times out of 10, they don't know their damn self. You know what I'm saying? And stop disrespecting Mr. Jack Kelly, you know what I'm saying, with his publications, with Fat Bill publications. You know? Mr. Jack publications kept you updated with what's going on. On a more frequent term, you know, you knew what was going on throughout the year. Not waiting on one magazine to get all this information and then give you one magazine, one book to give you all this information. It's a reason them Game Dog Times was the way they was, and the Sport Dog Journal was the way they was. Now some might say Fat Bill had the Game Dog Times before them volumes that he was putting out. You know, but I'm just gonna say it like this. Brothers, I done interviewed brothers that said they remember when Fat Bill got in the game. Mr. Jack Kelly was already doing Sporting Dog Journals when he got in the game, the Bulldog. You know? So, I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. Everybody from the Bulldog game back in them days, you didn't consider, no disrespect, like I said, no disrespect to Fat Bill's Game Dog Time magazines or books. You know, or catalogs, however you want to call it. No disrespect to them. But when it comes to the match reports, there was one official magazine for the match reports, and that was the Sporting Dog Journal. Now maybe it was some before his, and maybe it was some after his. But the Sporting Dog, the SDJ, was the official catalog for the match reports. And like I said, for y'all brothers to be down in them comments saying, you ain't gonna believe what Mr. Jack Kelly say, or we believe in a man that never had a bulldog compared to what Fat Bill did. Like I said, man, I interviewed people not even nowhere near the age of Mr. Jack Kelly that said they was bulldogging when Fat Bill was just getting in the game. You know? Mr. Jack Kelly go way back, black and white pictures. Black and white TV. Mr. Jack Kelly go way back. So hey man, like I said, y'all subscribe, y'all hit that like button up. It's your boy PB K9s on the PBC, and I'm out.